Hello everyone and welcome to Premier League predictions. And this week, like normal, I'm going to be predicting all 10 games of the upcoming week of the Premier League, which is week 6. And it's not just going to be me. I'm going to be competing against ChatGPT and the random football scoreline generator to see who's the best at predicting. So, without further ado, let's get predicting. Starting at the G-Tech Community Stadium, it is Brentford versus Manchester United. And it's going to be a close game, but I think Manchester United have a better squad than Brentford, especially after their transfer window, Brentford. And it's not really convincing when you lost 3-1 against Fulham. And Brentford at the start of the season hasn't been amazing whatsoever. You're definitely in a relegation battle. Manchester United, the fact that you got a 2-1 win versus Chelsea definitely is convincing me to possibly go your way. I think the main reason why they actually got that win versus Chelsea was probably because of Sanchez getting red carded right near the start of that game. But even so, they still did well to capitalise on it and not absolutely fumble the bag. And this should be a good confidence booster. So I am going towards Manchester United, but only just 2-1 to Manchester United. I think Brian Mbeumo against his former club Brentford is going to thrive, and I think he will get a couple of goal contributions.
Manchester United arrive with confidence after that 2-1 win over Chelsea, and with key defenders Dalot and Martinez potentially available, I'm saying 2-1 to United. Brentford are tough at home and will punish sloppy defending, but United's attacking quality should nick it.
Ellen Road up next. Leeds United versus AFC Bournemouth. And Leeds United, it was a 3-1 win away from home versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Thoroughly deserved. And that's going to be a huge confidence booster, especially to their main striker in Calvert-Lewin. What a great header and an even better pass by Jayden Bogle. Really good play by Leeds United. And the free kick from Anton Stack was beautiful. I know Leeds United don't have their main goalkeeper in Perry in goal, but Karl Darlow is very good. He's a great replacement for Perry. So I don't think the goalkeeper is an issue. And at home at Ellen Road, we know Leeds United can turn into an absolute beast when at Ellen Road. So I do not see Leeds United losing, but I don't see them winning. I'm going 1-1. Now, the reason why I don't think they're going to win is because they are playing AFC Bournemouth. They are doing really well. Yes, they only got a 0-0 draw versus Newcastle United, but it's going to be very hard to break down a great defence of Newcastle's calibre. Also, I felt like Bournemouth possibly deserved the win at times against Newcastle. Bournemouth's intensity was very good versus Newcastle, that I was really scared at times that we were going to concede. The way Iraola sets up Bournemouth attack is amazing, and the way Bournemouth pass it around really quickly is also amazing. So I am really tempted to give a second goal to Bournemouth. Do I change it? I can't. Not after Leeds United winning 3-1 against Wolves. And at Ellen Road, I can't see at Bournemouth. You're very close to winning this, but I'm going 1-1. But on the other hand, the random football scoreline generator has said 5-1 to Leeds United. Now, I would love for that to be a reality.
Leeds press aggressively at Ellen Road, so I can see them forcing chances. 1-1 feels right. Bournemouth are dangerous on the counter and set pieces, and have picked up useful scalps when their defence isn't stretched.
Over to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea versus Brighton and Hove Albion. Now Chelsea no longer have Sanchez in goal coming into this. I don't think that's going to be a huge miss, especially for a short period of time, but a big miss is the likes of Cole Palmer. Now he did play last game, but he wasn't 100% fit. So not having 100% fit Cole Palmer and having quite a few other injuries as well, I could imagine Chelsea making this a very close game. And I'm this close of going for a draw, but because Chelsea are at home, because I feel like they're going to have a big reaction to poor results, because they lost 3-1 against Bayern, they lost 2-1 against Man United, they only drew 2-0 against Brentford, with Chelsea's quality and Chelsea's squad depth that they have, eventually they are going to get another win. And at home as well, I'm thinking 2-1 to Chelsea. Brighton, you did very well to draw 2-2 versus Spurs, but you did bottle a win. But they're going to make it a close game. I just think Chelsea, they're too good of a club to not react really well after not winning for quite a while. They are due a win, Chelsea.
Chelsea are still managing Cole Palmer's groin issue, but seem more cohesive under Maresca. I'm leaning 2-0 to Chelsea. Brighton are brave and organised, but have a few fitness doubts and less squad depth for a quick response.
Over to the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City versus Burnley. Burnley, you have been doing pretty well. You could have even got another goal in that last game against Nottingham Forest, because that free kick hit the crossbar. It would have been a hell of a free kick and possible goal of the week if that did go in. But it didn't, and you only got a point against Nottingham Forest. And going away from home against Man City, it's an even harder opponent to play against. So I think you're going to lose this 2-0. I'm not going to go for a thrashing, because you've proved that you can keep it close against Liverpool, against Man United. So 2-0 to Man City. I think Man City, with the likes of Erling Haaland and Jeremy Doku, definitely has enough to penetrate what a compact, low block, tight defence from Burnley. They've got enough, Man City.
Even allowing for rotation or short-term absences, City's quality across the pitch makes 3-0 City my call. Burnley defend doggedly, but Pep's side creates chances in volume and should convert enough to make it comfortable.
Over to Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Crystal Palace have a very good chance of nicking a point against Liverpool in this game, because they haven't lost a Premier League match since April. That's 5 months. So being undefeated all that time is definitely a sign of Crystal Palace nicking a point. Now, I don't think Crystal Palace are going to win, because Liverpool are too good to let that happen. And Liverpool, I am tempted to go for you to win. I'm tempted for another 2-1 victory, as you have won every single game. But that record for Crystal Palace is just phenomenal. And they're at home in this game as well, so that gives them even more of a chance to get a point. Crystal Palace, even without Eze, you are doing fine. And considering Liverpool has shown a few problems defensively this season, I definitely feel like Crystal Palace has a chance to score a couple of goals. I'm going for a Desmond Tutu between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. And I've just remembered something that backs me up going for a draw is Crystal Palace this season has already scored a couple of goals against Liverpool in the Community Shield, and actually won against Liverpool in the Community Shield. So that's even more of a convincing reason. And another feeling I've got is Liverpool's winning streak has to stop at some point, because in all their games, it's been very tight. Yes, they didn't keep up the trend of scoring late on against Everton. They still had a tight game against Everton. And at some point, those tight games, probability-wise, they won't be able to keep on getting these tight games and just about winning each game. So eventually they are going to slip up. So 2-2 is definitely respectable. And a game where they would slip up is definitely away against Crystal Palace, if they were to.
Palace are organised under Glanzer and tough to break down at Selhurst, but 2-1 to Liverpool is my pick. Liverpool's front line and late game finishing usually decide their fate.
Over to the City ground, it's Nottingham Forest versus Sunderland. Both red teams going against each other, and I could imagine this is a draw, but I'm not going for a draw. I'm going towards home advantage for Nottingham Forest to win this 2-1. It's going to be a close game, and Sunderland showed great resilience when they had 10 men and they kept on attacking and looking good in the attack despite having 10 men, and eventually scored when they had 10 men. So the fact that they've shown that, and they've been doing really well this season, a draw is definitely possible. But my reasoning to going Nottingham Forest to win is, number one, they do have a very good side, and it's been a bit of time now for Ange Postecoglou to properly integrate his system, and he hasn't won yet, Ange Postecoglou. But the fact that they lost against Arsenal, they lost against Swansea, then they drew against Burnley, slowly but surely the results are getting better and better. I know that the results aren't looking too good, but at home it's definitely a winnable game for Nottingham Forest. Look at how good that side was last season, and you're telling me they can't win against Sunderland, a newly promoted side? Yeah, I could imagine now Ange Postecoglou's been there for a little bit, it's time for him to get a win. 2-1 Nottingham Forest. With the likes of Chris Wood and Morgan Gibbs-White, it's going to be hard for Sunderland to keep the goals out. I know they do have Roofs in goal, which is really good and has shown his worth. It's not going to be enough away from home.
Forest have shown flashes, but are still reshaping their midfield and have injury doubts around key players. So I'll call 1-1. Sunderland's energy and counter threat mean there'll be no walkover at the City ground.
Over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now Tottenham Hotspur, you did fantastic to get back into that game. You were 2-0 down to make it 2-2. And yes, I know you've got abundance of injuries, but even with those injuries, you have proved that you can play really good football, especially under Thomas Frank. I got that scoreline bang on, saying that you're going to draw 2-2 with Brighton. So I was expecting you not to win that game. But this game, I am expecting you to win. Number one, you're at home advantage. Number two, Wolves have not won one game and has lost all of them in the Premier League. Number three, Tottenham, you have much better squad depth and even a better squad than Wolves on paper. Strand Larsen is starting to come back into the Wolves side, so Strand Larsen getting a lovely tap-in goal isn't far from the truth in this game. And I could imagine him making a really good run and getting a little tap-in. And Wolves will score 1, but Tottenham will score 4, winning this 4-1. I'm sorry Wolves, but Tottenham's attack and midfield and even defence just look too good for you.
Spurs are getting more rhythm in attack and should create more clear chances at home. 2-0 to Tottenham. Wolves are disjointed early season and struggle to sustain pressure for 90 minutes.
Over to Villa Park, Aston Villa versus the Cottagers, and Aston Villa yet to win but finally score their first goal of the Premier League season. Now it's time. After scoring your first goal, the next game, you're at home. You're going against a team, Fulham, which did just win 3-1 against Brentford, but Fulham is a team where you're going to have a very close encounter against. The result is going to be quite close. You're not going to get thrashed by Fulham, it's going to be close. And considering you just scored, Aston Villa, I'm thinking you can score again, but only a goal. I'm going 1-0 to Aston Villa. Yes, Fulham did score 2 goals and Brentford scored an own goal to make it 3-1. But other than that, throughout the season, Fulham's goals, they've been pretty lacklustre. So going Aston Villa clean sheet, I think is pretty respectable. 1-0 Villa. They haven't won yet, Aston Villa, and they've got an amazing side and amazing manager. So they're going to eventually get a win. The next step after scoring is a win. And at home, they can definitely do it. 1-0.
Villa ended a scoring drought, but still look low on energy. I'll back 2-1 Villa because their individual class, even in poor form, can produce moments to win tight games. While Fulham will punish mistakes, but probably not enough for a draw.
Over to the best club ever in the world. It's at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United versus the Gunners. Now Newcastle United drew at 0-0 versus Bournemouth. That is 3 0-0 draws this season for the Magpies, which is bonkers. And I would love to go 7-2 to Newcastle United, as the random football scoreline generated has done, but I just can't. I cannot go for Newcastle to win, especially not on that scale, because Arsenal are just too good. They're title challenging, while Newcastle are challenging for Europe. two different levels. But considering Newcastle put up a fight against Liverpool, considering every game this season, Newcastle haven't been thrashed at all, they've always kept it close, even against Barcelona. Yeah, I think Newcastle could get a draw. 1-1. I've seen enough signs when Newcastle are pressing. I've seen enough signs on how quick Newcastle break forward. I know against Bournemouth, the likes of Nick Voltemade looked pretty sluggish. Without the likes of Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton properly helping out the attack, it is going to be tough. But Eddie Howe did rest Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes, but this time Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes is probably going to be in the starting 11. And alongside Sandro Tonali, everyone's going to be ready. And Nick Voltemade, I think it was just a very off game. And this time, at St James's Park, with Newcastle fans being so good and so influential, a draw isn't far from a truth. I think 1-1 is a fair prediction. I mean, Newcastle last season proved that they can do very well against Arsenal. And I have to admit, to Arsenal, there were a few concerns against Man City. You didn't score till right near the end. And in the first half, there was a lot of passes which really kind of fizzled out to nothing. So 1-1 and not going for an Arsenal win is definitely probable when you consider how Arsenal played against Man City. There were still good signs, and the likes of Eze and Saka coming on off the pitch did impact that game against Man City, but still, Newcastle at St James's Park, it's gonna be tough.
Newcastle are solid at St James's Park, and Arsenal have a growing injury list, a few attacking absences to monitor. So 1-1 feels likely. Both can score, but neither looks likely to dominate fully.
Over to the Monday kickoff fixture. It is Everton versus West Ham at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and it's going to be a close game. West Ham definitely showed a few improvements against Crystal Palace, but still lost out. Everton under David Moyes is amazing. Jack Grealish and Dewsbury Hall is going to at least contribute to one goal. I'm only going to go 1-0 because I think West Ham are playing better, and I think West Ham might have a bit more possession. And the likes of Paqueta and Bowen is going to create chances and delay Everton's attack going forward. But Everton's got a good enough defence to hold off West Ham. I've seen the way David Moyes plays and it's amazing. I could imagine Everton getting one little counter-attack. Really worked well. Jack Grealish running down the left flank, doing his classic crossing in the ball rather than cutting in, and Beto getting a little heading goal, and then Everton just defending, and West Ham really struggling to break down Everton's defence. That's how I see it going, but I could be wrong and it could be a 1-1 draw. But I think Everton have been sensational and I'm confident about this result.
Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium are tougher to break down and will get energy from the crowd. So 1-1. West Ham still pose transition threats, Paqueta and Bowen, but remain inconsistent. So a draw is the most probable result.
Over to goal of the week, I'm going for Awari's goal against Spurs. What a goal from outside the box. Lovely curling effort. But over to the scores of last week. I got 10 points, getting 3 exact predictions correct. Liverpool, Everton, Sunderland, Aston Villa, and Brighton, Spurs. And ChatGPT got a measly 4 points last week. And then the random football scoreline generator getting just 3 points as expected. Overall, putting me on 30 points, putting ChatGPT on 24 points, and putting the random football scoreline generator on 15 points. This gives me loads of confidence that there is actually skill in predicting at the moment, because I had a 10-pointer. I actually had a good week for once. I'm chuffed, and hopefully you're chuffed and happy and amazing. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. And I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be Champions League predictions. So for now, toodaloo.